I was killed by my twin sister and dismembered by my parents. My sister took my place and reunited with my billionaire husband. She thought she had fooled everyone, but as a spirit, I heard my husband say, "You're not her." My husband is the long-lost grandson of a billionaire. Overnight, I became rich and powerful. However, when I returned to my family home, they killed me, holding the body of me that had returned from my family home. He whispered softly, "You look beautiful today, more beautiful than ever." But he didn't know that the person was actually my twin sister. Sally put on my dressing gown and smiled at the mirror, imitating my usual manner. "Edgar, you're back." After saying this, she slapped the mirror unsatisfied, murmuring, "It still doesn't look quite right. System, adjust it again for me." A moment later, as she looked at the mirror again, I could no longer tell who she was supposed to be. "I'm Sherry," she said with a smile, making her voice identical to mine. Just then, Edgar Kreisberg emerged from the bathroom. Every night, he practiced expressions in the bathroom, smiling, showing sympathy. Looking sad seemed more normal. He hugged Sally Nightingale from behind and kissed her neck affectionately. "Haha, it's ticklish." Sally giggled, wriggling a bit, but Edgar only looked at her reflection in the mirror, his brows barely furrowing. For a moment, I thought he saw me, but there were only their two reflections in the mirror, without me. "Edgar, I'm right here," Sally said, turning her head to touch his face. "Why do you keep staring at my reflection in the mirror?" Edgar traced his finger across the mirror. "The person in the mirror looks exactly like you." "Of course it does," Sally laughed. "That's me. Let's get some rest," Edgar said, rising to leave. Sally reached out her hands toward him. "I want you to carry me to bed," Sally said with a smile. "Honey." I stood behind them like a transparent figure, watching scene after scene unfold. Sally said she had all of my memories and could imitate me perfectly. From my memories, were Edgar and I really so loving toward each other? Yet clearly, I was afraid of him. We were childhood sweethearts, growing up in the same orphanage, relying on each other as family. His circumstances were special, and he needed a guardian to be released from the orphanage. So we got married. But no one expected that 3 months ago, the orphan Edgar was actually the estranged grandson of the richest man in the country. He was brought back, and immense wealth became his possession. Various media outlets reported on his story, curious about what this favorite child looked like, but Edgar never made public appearances. They tried day and night to catch a glimpse of Edgar and take a photo, but they never succeeded, until I was suddenly exposed, and crowds swarmed around me, asking about Edgar and how I, as an orphan, ended up marrying him. I was pushed to the ground, and as people stepped toward me, Edgar shielded me. He lifted his gaze slightly toward the cameras with sharp and cold eyes. That photo of him looking back became wildly popular. The media praised him for not forgetting his humble beginnings and flying into a rage for the love of a woman, making him the new dream husband for countless girls. As his wife, I became an object of envy. I was seen as a rival for the position of Mrs. Kreisberg, including Sally. She suddenly appeared before me, hugging and crying and laughing. "My sister! I finally found you! Our family is finally reunited!" Family? I looked blankly at the parents and older sister who had suddenly appeared, feeling lost. I didn't doubt that they were deceiving me because Sally and I were twins. Standing face to face, we were like reflections in a mirror. We looked too alike. Even as twins, we had been separated for over 20 years and grown up in different environments. We shouldn't have looked so much like the same person. Later, I learned that she had started imitating me a long time ago. But I wanted a family so badly. I wanted someone to attend sports meetings for me. Someone to drop me off at my dormitory. Someone I could pout to when I felt wronged. When Mom hugged me and cried, I thought in a daze, this is what it feels like to be hugged by a mother. So fragrant, so soft, so warm. "My daughter," she said, wiping away her tears. "Mom will take you home." I was so happy that I couldn't help but call Edgar, but he countered, "Isn't having me as your family enough?" "But..." "Sherry," he interrupted me, "they abandoned you. They're useless. Only I have been by your side." I didn't say anything. He always negated me like this. Sally suddenly appeared behind me, smiling and looking at me with her hands behind her back. "Sherry, let's make a trade." I was startled. I wasn't used to having an older sister. "What kind of trade?" "You become Sally, and I'll be you. I'll trade you Mom and Dad for Edgar." She leaned closer, her smile becoming more sinister. "Didn't you want a family?"